broadcast as well. Again, we do need to get this is for the quarter moon steering team, right? We do need to get Zilu on the correct channel so that he can broadcast on the right channels instead of his personal account, which doesn't help too much. Get Zilu on the correct channel so probably like a 4.75, and it's the middle of the night here. We do want to remember to get our notes organized this time so that we're putting everything into the notes as opposed to the setup agenda. And I've been working on taxes and finances, asset management, prime planning, executive work, et cetera, payroll, a bunch of different stuff. And again, I'll say it again, we need to make sure that we're putting the information from our session into the notes instead of putting it into the note section instead of the setup section. We can remember to do that.
Can I have that, please? No one is listening.
Okay, let me say it again. We need to remember to put the information into the note section this time instead of doing it in the setup section so that it's organized with the notes. Hello, is anyone just, are you guys just not hearing me, or is there something going on?
Yes, you're hearing it.
Okay, so why I have to say it 5 times? I'll say it a 4th time. Let's get it in the notes. So can we please put in the notes that we need to make sure we're writing in the notes section instead of in the setup section? Does that not make any sense, or am I just not communicating? Do you guys want me to write it? Is that the problem? They said
I don't even have the note. I don't even see what they're talking about.
Section.
There's no
time
open.
And on the Skype,
I send you on Hangout also.
No, either on the Skype. No.
can you go to the Quaterman? I think you are on the Quaterman group.
No, I think you have removed. Can someone just send me through the please?
I give you on Hangout. Listen. Can you check the Hangout
It's
message?
not on my Hangouts. No, it
Okay,
can't.
just wait. Sending Angela. Just a minute.
Okay.
And just to say it again, like, it's very frustrating having to say something 5 times and then no one getting it into the
The
notes.
notes on the
Nina?
You said you are putting the notes on the setup instead of the notes section.
I know, but you didn't write it in the notes as part of my check-in. I kept saying it over and over and over again, and no one wrote it in the notes. It doesn't make any sense. What?
You are checking some under the notes.
What?
You said we didn't write your check-in. It's under the notes section.
Yeah, because I wrote it. Because I said it 5 times, and you guys didn't write it down every single time I said it.
You know, for me, I was not having the doc.
I'm not talking to you, Lucy. I'm talking to Albina and Zilu, who were supposed to be helping take notes and took notes for their. This is the same thing we dealt with during the checkouts in the last session. When I talk, that for whatever reason the notes don't get added.
I don't understand because the check-in is under the notes section.
Yes, and what I was saying is that we need to make sure we're putting all of our information in the notes section instead of in the setup section. like we did
But we
last
just
time.
started with the check-ins. Okay.
I'm talking about the entire setup section. I'm not just talking about check-ins.
So you want to place the setup section under the notes.
As we're going through the setup, we put the information of the note of what we talk about in the notes, not in the setup. Like, for example, all of this, everything in terms of the schedule, this is all the schedule should be in the notes, not in the setup. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All our proposals, we're going to list all our proposals in the notes, not in the setup. Please don't put the entire setup into the notes. That doesn't make any sense either. We just do one section at a time. As we're talking about it, we just keep it organized, okay? So let's let Lucy check in and just do our best with taking notes, please.
Yes, I'm at 6. And I've been working on ranking payroll, J support, and doing scheduling. Etc.
And I do want to thank Lucy very much for scheduling and helping with the J support. That was definitely a good session today, yesterday. And helped get a lot of things organized that weren't organized before. So if we could keep that up, we would get a lot more done. So Albina, you're helping with the facilitation, right?
Yes, we are done with the check-ins. We're going to the attendance. Communication groups, strikes, rankings, and that. Attendance is okay. We have 4 of us. Daisy, Albina, Lucy. On the groups. The Quarterman group.
I'm not on Quarterman.
Yes, we are going to add.
I'm adding Lucy.
Yeah. Strikes. Rankings.
You know what the rankings would be? Can you do the rankings?
Okay, wait. Okay. Just want to confirm first.
What are you confirming?
I'll do the ranking, but I want to confirm.
What are you
Okay.
confirming?
Rankings.
So you're saying you don't know what the rankings are?
I know.
So what's the question again? I don't understand.
You're asking, you don't do it. Then I'm saying I'm gonna do.
I'm just asking
want
someone to
confirm.
do the rankings. Can someone do the rankings and state it on for the session?
Yes.
It should only take
I did
5-10 seconds.
rankings. Albina, Lucy, Zilu. The notes I did.
I couldn't really hear Zilu. If you want to try saying again.
I did the ranking under the notes here. Ranking is J, Albina, Lucy, and Zilu.
No. Ranking is J. Albina. Zilu.
Zilu and Lucy.
Your last
And Lucy.
Okay, well, as long as there's agreement and everyone agrees that it's correct, then that should be fine.
We are in value and team equity.
And value per hour for everyone. For Zilu, Albina is 3.33.
We're just going to use the so
Zilu 3.39. Then Lucy 3.97.
Now can we move on?
I don't think it's updated yet.
not yet.
So what about Albina? What do we have for Albina?
3.33.
All right, and this is not Newman, this is Quarterman. This divided by 4. Cool. Okay, I'm going to quickly update the network equity, and then I think we'll be good. So, Albina, if you want to keep going, that's fine. Or you can just wait for me to do the network equity. Either way.
Okay, good. Evaluation. Are you doing evaluation and prioritization? Or we are skipping?
We're not. We don't need to do the spreadsheet because we have our Beyond Super Hard Stop, but we do our weekly check-ins.
Can we spend 5 minutes on weekly check-in?
Mm-hmm.
I'm done.
I'm good as well.
I'm also done. Can we move on?
Uh-huh.
We are on our desired outcomes.
Okay, and remember our desired outcomes go in the desired outcomes section, along with our priority focus of the meeting.
It will not on the notes.
Maybe to go over our proposals and voting form from last time. Review and vote on new proposals as needed. Check on the status of our budget work. Maybe make a plan to get out of beyond super hard stop. Finish up as soon as possible. Be nice. Merely desired outcomes.
Review on external invoicing and review on taxes.
Can you do the one at a time? What was the first one?
First one, review on external invoicing. परमिशन नहीं था. Another one is
Any other results come?
How does this look like for our agenda?
Yeah, it looks good.
For our topics? Oh, I actually have another thing I wanted to add. I want to start reviewing the process and structure for our support team, which would be new and full MOOCs. If we could just do that first. All right, anything else? Any other topics?
No.
Looks like a good order. Cool. All right. Albina, I think we're ready to move on. It doesn't, unless there's any objections to the desired outcomes and topics.
Do we have any questions on our outcome and topics? Concern? Objections? If there is no objection on our topic and this outcome. We are at the bottom of the first hour. Can we have a 30-second stretch?
Yes, good idea.
Okay, are we doing a minute review on our topics?
Nope.
We are going straight to our topic. Okay.
What?
Are we doing a minute review on our topic?
No.
Okay.
We're going to
Schedule.
Okay.
Yes, and we want to delete all of this stuff for the schedule and put that in the notes.
I already paid.
Okay, so then we can delete all of this,
Yes, we can.
including the Mercury session.
Yes.
All right, so we're planning on wrapping up by 11:30. Is that correct?
Yes. We started at 10 a.m.
Okay. So does someone want to go over our schedule? And also remember, we always want to be updating this. Cool, perfect. So there's already a few things obviously missing from our schedule.
But it is.
But the work session schedule.
Work sessions, yeah. I'm not sure actually.
We have the session today, demand. You just only put global session.
So can you update the auditing session? Or you can say I
Yes.
We have today. We have what? We have payroll. Value tracking. I think value tracking.
If we could just get them all in order, that would be ideal.
Value tracking is for payroll and the same.
What is going on
For
here?
1 hour, first hour, and the second hour it will be taxes and the government compliant for the hour 2.
If we could just get them all in order, that would be ideal.
Okay. Then we have recruitment. Is it recruitment on Friday? Do you have any session Thursday, Friday?
No session, that is the only session that was.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday we have recruitment.
Yeah, this for this week is like Friday, yeah, to Friday.
Also, we can set up the reminder for Zila. We need to find the planetary scheduling page document. That page for updating. So we need to find that. We still haven't been able to find it yet. So just you need to keep reminding me, okay? Does that make sense, either? You just not, do you understand or not?
Oh, the web page. Yes, I understand.
Yeah, there's we have a It's like it's visual. It has all the pictures of all of the visual with all pictures of the planets. Okay. So just keep reminding me because you need to have that.
HTML extension?
What?
Is that HTML extension? What is the file extension?
It should just be a document in Google. It's just a Google document. So just keep reminding me so that I can look for it. I might need to go into a couple different Google accounts because it doesn't seem to be, it's from many years ago. It might be linked off of one of the pads or something. We'll just have to see. All right, so tomorrow we've got value tracking, first hour, taxes, government client, second hour, Saturday, Friday, Saturday, recruitment. Sunday, we've got 8th moon. We have our moon perigee, which is going to be our recruitment commission.
Tuesday 19th.
On Tuesday. I guess this would be Wednesday the 20th for our seasonal session. I believe our seasonal session is our management team, right?
Yes.
So we'll be doing reporting for that. Management reports, full moon on the 21st. So we're going to have a busy week, 19th, 20th, 21st. There's a lot going on for 3 days here. Sunday, 8th moon, last quarter, Thursday.
And management and full moon is the same.
The same day.
2 hours, no, the same day, different day, but it's 2 hours.
Different
right?
of 2 hours, yeah.
Or we can skip one.
I think it's a difference of 4 hours, right?
Yes.
I have 4 hours.
Yeah, so we get a 2 hour break. So we do 2 hours and then we get a 2 hour break, 2 hours, 2 hour break. Okay. And then full moon. Then we got new moon and then we have Mercury, and this is a global core team.
Zilu, can you vote, please? I'm sending you the proposal. You did not vote to certify. When I was sending it, you have to vote it again because the first one is I did not include the budget. Kindly, if you can just vote right now.
Where is the form link on our doc?
I'm sending you now. Check on the Hangout. Continue. Sorry, yeah, you can continue.
Okay, I think it's applicable to just quickly remind us that the Venus session is executive. We should be inviting more people to this session and get our invitation set up. I mean, it doesn't need to be complicated. It's just like we have our email list and then we create our automated reminders and we just add the right people to the email list. I mean, it shouldn't be complicated. I would say that that would be a next step. We would need to do that, go over session support for planetary and other sessions. Right. And then the most important, over there we have the Earth session, which is going to be in July. So for the Earth session, it's going to be our Bouncil meeting. So we should be preparing for that, right? Again, with our Bouncil lists and our Earth session list. And then the other most important one is the Mars session. And the Mars session is in August. Okay, so let's make sure that these 3 sessions are planned and organized. And can we see when the series, does anyone know where the series is happening?
No series in these years.
No series.
So series is 2020. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, I think we're ready to move on.
Yeah.
So MBE Plasma. You can view our async doc here. So we have HR board votes, voting, WCDC board proposals. It's been getting a little better. I went through some of that. It's not completely done yet. UESS support. This is the one that we're not doing. So, I mean, I think we just need to, for the World Play Ventures, and I think we need to schedule a UESS support session. So this would be a responsibility to schedule UESS support session and World Play board.
Can I interrupt you guys? My internet is just going to be disconnected in 5 minutes.
Okay.
So below the results for just link below result for approval proposal from New Moon, and only one proposal is not approved. The proposal of proposed to have everyone vote who is present. We are all here and we are all being paid. That's the only proposal now does not pass. No one vote for it, and the rest are approved.
Which one didn't pass?
All of them, all the one for proposal to have everyone vote who is present. We are all here and we are all being paid. Why not do the work? That's the only one. No one voted for it, and the rest of the proposal are you can maybe review later, because I did not renew my internet. It will take time. Maybe if I will be back, maybe I will be on the phone. I have to buy the bundle on my phone. I can take
the results on the doc. Maybe we'll go through it.
Yeah, I just link it there.
Okay.
Yeah. I will be on the phone if I buy my bundles, because my internet is gonna be disconnected in a few minutes from now. I'll be working on. I'll be doing my scheduling. Most of my work is scheduling and J support, viral, and voting forms, and any other priorities that need to get done. Thank you. I'll be on the phone if I have bundle.
Okay, thanks, Lucy. Take care.
Okay, thank you.
So, is Lucy planning on coming back, or she was checking out, or?
She was checking out. Says her internet is going to be disconnected. She might be on phone or not.
Okay, so try. Okay.
So
yeah. Okay, well, we can just note that she.
Be on 15-second breath.
Do you want to do the breath?
Yes. Can we exhale together? Inhale together. Then we exhale together.
Nice. Okay, so as far as MBE and Plasma, some of this is going to go into taxes and government compliance. So World Play, it kind of falls into that particular place, and we have a little bit of oversight of that. So we do need to do that So we can add it to our taxes and government compliance as well. And this also, we could also note in taxes and government compliance, Galactorb. So let's go ahead and index this into the taxes and government compliance system. And since we're on the topic, we know we have a couple other things to do, like we have the extensions. We've got the trust. We have the new nonprofit. We've got cyber orgs. And I think there's the corporation, right? All right, cool. You might want to create like a foreign LLC or sub LLC. Okay, so anyways, we have lots of government compliance to work on and taxes. All right, so let's go into the next section. Are there any other questions on MBE or plasma?
No.
Also, in terms of our schedule, seasonal management, not too worried about that. We have our reporting. Executive Venus session in mid-April. It's going to be about a month away. This would be a really good session to do some plasma for. So this would include, so if we just really quickly go over plasma for Venus session. This is April 18th. We would want to prepare our decisions since the previous Venus session. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So we want to get all the decisions organized and prepared to be presented. This also may include a voting form on policy changes. And there may even be like a executive report.
The decisions only for was, as I can remember, you said probably for HR decisions on all the decisions.
It's the decisions doc. There should be a decisions doc where we're tracking all decisions since the previous Venus session to be presented to.
Yeah, but there is lots of decisions. So only we will take the HR, the main decisions. That means, or overall all the decisions we need to do.
Think about it like this. All decisions from the beginning of 2 decades ago need to be documented. Every single decision from every month from the entire year, plus all of last year, the year before, the previous 5 years, the previous 10 years, every single decision needs to be documented and be organized and databased within our decisions docs and anything that we could possibly organize it with, right? So all we have to do is prepare the decisions since the previous Venus session. That's much easier.
Only decisions made during the Venus session or all decisions during all global sessions?
All sessions, all decisions.
But here, let me explain how it's supposed to work. So this should be really simple. Decisions organizing, right? So you make, so you have decisions at, weekly sessions, right? So weekly sessions could be super teams. It could be quarter moon, right? These are like weekly session decisions, right? And at your global core team, right? This would be the monthly. You do a decisions doc for all decisions made over the month, right? So this you would review all decisions over the week, right? Global core team, you're reviewing the decisions made over the month, right? So at the management session, you're reviewing decisions made over 1.5 months, right? And then at the executive Venus session, you review the decisions from 3 months. So if you have all your management session decision reviews, the executive should be really easy. You just are simply reviewing the management session reviews. Does that make sense?
Yes. So,
So if you
this is the script previously, and you said how that it is correct or it can be changed.
It's not going to be correct because it's not. I've never seen anything anywhere close. Plus, it's much more than that, right? Like the goal is to get all of the decisions organized and categorized, so that we have them categorized between the policy decisions, which decisions need to be reviewed, which decisions need to be put on a voting form, and which decisions are not policies, for example, scheduling decisions or other decisions that really just don't affect the legal decision making of the organization, right? So we can go over all that as needed, but what I'm asking for is very simple. Do we have a prepared decision stock of all the decisions since the previous Venus session? Does that exist or not?
No.
Okay, so then whatever you show me is not applicable.
Okay.
So maybe you should work on the management review for the 1.5 months first. Or you could try doing a global core team one for monthly. All the decisions made over the month. Like if you don't want to start at the whole entire 3 months, you don't have to. You can start with 1 month, or you can start with 1.5 months. Or you could even try to do, a smaller amount, but usually our weekly ones, we have our voting forms and this is all already organized. So really it's just like the monthly Mercury sessions and then Venus sessions. And then from the Venus sessions, we'll be organizing all the decisions for the Earth session, and then we'll be organizing them all for the membership. This is basic accountability under plasma. Does that make sense?
Yes, makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. So, but if we do it for the core team, we do it for the management sessions, we do it for the executive sessions, it should be really, really easy to go towards the board sessions for the Bouncil, right? So it's twice per year, right? So it's a half year of decisions. So we do it twice per year. All the decisions for the entire half year are presented to the Bouncil meeting. And then we have the membership. By the time we get to Ceres, Jupiter, Saturn, etc., we pretty much should have all decisions ever made to be accountable and presented in an organized way to the Legion. Right? This is basic accountability, right? So we're going to categorize our decisions based on importance. The more important a decision is, the more important it is for it to be reviewed, right? Another example of categorization is, a proposal that is both important and barely passed needs to be reviewed. That make sense?
Yes, makes sense.
All right. Anyway, so hopefully eventually we'll get to the point where like our decisions are organized. The other thing to understand here, why we would do this, right? Why?
Do you understand?
As an organization and network, we are our decisions, nothing more, nothing less. The same would be true with a country. So if you are creating a country or a nation state, your existence and reputation and recognition is only based on your decisions, nothing else. In other words, without your decisions, you do not exist. Does that make sense? So there's really nothing else more important than our decisions as far as our existence. As oh, I need to plug in.
Is that a hardship priority or is it out of
No. I need a break.
Yeah, we are 3 minutes to the top of the hour. Can we have a 5-minute break? Okay. I'm back.
Cool. So let's see, the next section is proposals.
So is the decisions organizing, it should be under the software district priority?
No. So I noted right here, taxes are more important than decisions organizing.
Okay.
So we need to get our taxes done. We need to get off of hard stop. But we should be able to get our decisions organized for the Venus session. So we have a month for that. And we can prioritize which types of decisions are the most important to go over. All right, so proposals. We can start with the proposals, reviewing the proposals from the new. You want to do that?
Yes. The first proposal was to have everyone vote who is present. We are all here and why not do the work? That was the first one. No one voted on that. Let me put that. The second proposal was all workers have a duty to the organizations and network, including taking on responsibilities. If they can no longer do their responsibilities, they need to find or recruit someone to take over their responsibilities when they leave or step away. And legal, fiduciary, loyalty, or due diligence, ask questions, etc. If you're involved in decision making or voting forms.
Okay, so
for workers,
Albina, you don't need to read the details of every single proposal, especially if you're not putting in the notes. So all you need to do is give us the result. So what is the proposal? What is the category of the proposal? Did it pass? Did it not pass? Moving on, right?
Okay, the first one it had no votes, so the second one passed with 7.5. That proposal was new policy on existing information. Do not copy. It passed with 7.3. Just copy and put in our notes. The other proposal was to certify results from HR board on removing MBT's Zonad Abdul Mamun Teresa. It passed with 8.3. Then to certify the HR board results for the monthly budget, 7.83. Then proposal to certify the HR board results for the monthly budget with the amount of 750 per month, in red with 115, passed with 8. And to approve our overall budget that is about 500 negative, in red, which is about 31,000 per year. It passed with 7.6. Then the other proposal is to approve the quarterly budget report and indoor budgets and business expenses budgets, passed with 7.83. The other one is when you take on responsibility, you automatically take that responsibility on indefinitely. We do not assign one-time responsibilities. It passed with 7.83. I think all proposal passed except the first one.
Okay. So what's that last one? I don't see the last one here.
The last one. Supporting budget.
Oh, I thought you said something else. Okay. So do you want to propose the certification or?
Yes. The proposal is to satisfy the results from the Newman votes. Do we have any question on the proposal? Any concern? Objection? My concern is on the first proposal, Jay.
I think we just deleted that proposal and that it didn't really exist or get any votes, so we just not going to worry about it.
Okay, thank you.
Lucy chose not to include it.
I think we are done with that.
Cool. So I think that this one right here, our work method, follow through on completing work based on taking responsibility, then organizing the work, getting feedback. It's very similar to this updated one that I made. Workers are required to follow through with their responsibilities. That means they must take due diligence on their responsibility, continue reminding, updating the team, status support, scheduling. So they're pretty much exactly the same thing. They're just slightly different ways of saying it. I think this is a lot clearer. So if there's any objections, we could just include both of them in the policy and then go from there. Are there any questions about it? Are there any concerns? Are there any objections?
No.
So again, this would just be like added to the previous policy that was already approved. So again, it says something similar, but instead of talking about our work methods, it's talking about specifically worker responsibilities. So here it says work methods follow through, whereas this is worker responsibilities. So it's a little clearer. But because it was already proposed, it's not really a new proposal. So I don't know if we need to necessarily include it in the voting form, but it does need to be included in the policies when we're organizing the policies. And remember, when we're doing decisions organizing, we're also updating our policies, right? It's all part of the same process. And that's part of what the executives do, is making sure the policies are updated. All right. Other proposals. I have a few of them here. This one is not really a proposal, but let's just add it so we don't forget it. Let me just add all of them and get all of them here. So I think there's 3. So this is just the task. Add to the payroll monthly that we'd only do payroll monthly. So this has already been approved. So, but this needs to be added to the recruitment. Right, so it's like add to recruitment job post. Okay. Policy to announce a dual Gregorian date where we have the 2 Gregorian days on a single day. The halfway, also there is a halfway point. Oh, this is the halfway point where the selling day changes right in the middle of the 2 Gregorian days around 12 p.m. It's actually 12 p.m. Are there any questions about?
And when it is need to be announced? Before the end of the day, what is the due to do the announcement?
So no, how like once every like 2.5 months or so, there's like there's one selling day that has 2 Gregorian days in it. In all of our organizing and documentations, finances, everything, we need to be able to track that particular day similarly to the due, right? So basically, so the policies for selling calendar, one is that we keep it updated. So this is already happening. Then we announce the due day, right, which is the day off. And this is already happening. And then the new policy proposal is to add an announcement for the dual Gregorian date. This is the new policy. So I mean, basically, I'm always trying to figure it out and look for it. It's just like we need to confirm that it's correct, verify it, and make sure that it's announced, because it's just important in terms of all of our value tracking, equity, all of our finances, and there's just a lot of things that are reliant on that particular date being correctly organized for our calendar and our tracking. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
The other one is the other date is the date where there is where the selling day has 3 dates in it, and the Gregorian day fits into the selling day exactly. So this is the opposite of the dual Gregorian date. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we could announce both dates, because that would be the halfway point, right? This would be the halfway point.
So I'm just making sure this is the 15th day for this month, and it's having 2 days, 20th March and 21st March. So this is we should announce, right?
I think so. And see how it's at 11:57 p.m.
Yeah.
Well, no, that shouldn't be correct. Well, it all depends on. This would be 12 p.m. local time.
The night,
So we just need to confirm that it should be local time if it's not going to be UTC time. So is it local time or is it UTC? So anyways, we need to confirm this part and make sure that's verified, okay? Which is part of why this is important.
Local time for AAT or AMT. That means the local time.
I don't know. We would have to verify it, but the point is that it's supposed to be changing based on the Gregorian date, so it might be when it crosses the 12 p.m. of UTC. So this could be off by, by 12 hours. I don't know. We have to double check. Okay. You just need to go back to the previous dual dates, and then it'll give you the exact time because it goes over a specific time. So this is 11:57 p.m. is going directly into the next Gregorian day, which doesn't make a lot of sense. There's a problem there. Okay. All right. So anyways, the proposal is to just announce the dual. Albina, were you saying something?
Ping.
Oh, thank you. So the proposal is just to announce the Gregorian date, but we could announce both dates. We could announce the Gregorian date and the opposite one, which is the Selene day that matches perfectly with the Gregorian day. So this is like more of the other date is the perfect match, right? Perfect match. Selene, so do we want to announce both or just one?
We have to do both because some is 3 days. Some people 2 days.
Was that a yes, do both, or just do the first one?
We can do the both.
So we want to do both?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we're going to have 3 announcements. We're going to announce the due day. We're going to announce the dual Gregorian dates, which means that this is exactly the opposite. When the Selene calendar and the Gregorian calendar are the least matched. And then we'll have the announcement for the perfect match when the Selene date and the Gregorian date perfectly line up. Okay, so we're going to announce all 3 of those, and that's the proposal. Policy proposal. So technically there's 2 proposals. Any questions?
No.
Any concerns? And any objections? Okay, cool. So we have consensus on that proposal. All right, so then this other policy, HR policy, is specifically targeted towards Jason and others with outstanding advances.
5-second pause.
All right. The policy proposal, this is an HR policy proposal. If you are no longer in the budget and have an advance, you need to return the money. You cannot work unless you get approved back into the budget and have clear roles. and responsibilities. Alternatively, you can help raise the money to at or end your advance. So you either give the money back yourself or help raise the money. One way or another, the goal is to get the money back. Send one page in a video. So, and let's say eventually a video. So, and a one pager for fundraising. So we need to create this one pager for fundraising. And this could be for during recruitment. It shouldn't be too difficult to do that. That's the policy proposal. Are there any questions about it? Does it make sense?
Yes, it makes sense. No question.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if Jason wanted to work with us, he can, but he would need to actually want to work with us and actually follow all our policies and be involved and do everything. He can't just like work a few hours just to like not have to pay the money back or, you know, whatever. It wouldn't make sense. So any concerns? I guess we should review the old policy. So the old policy was that basically if you had an advance, you could just work it off anytime, even if you were no longer in the budget. All right. So now what we're saying is this policy would not be applicable. The new policy would be if you have to be approved in the budget for how you're going to be and what you're going to be working off your advance for. Otherwise, you should just return the money, right? Cool.
Yeah.
So I think this makes a lot of sense. I guess the only concern would be, you know, Jason or someone else may prefer to not get agreement or clarity on the hours they are doing for the money. All right. So any objections?
No.
All right. So this passes by consensus as well. And just to remind you, this, you know, whenever you have a policy change, under our policies for voting, you have to state what the old policy is when you're voting on the new policy. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why I remembered to write the old policy on here. All right. So I think that's it on the new proposals. So in the voting form, we're going to have to certify the results from the new moon. So that's one proposal. We also have the policy proposal for the selling calendar. There's two new announcements. And we have the HR policy proposal. Okay.
3. Okay, yes.
Yeah, 3. 1, 2, 3. I think there's 4 if you include both proposals for the announcements of the selling calendar.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're ready to go on to vibes. I think for this we basically have scheduled Tuesday for contention, situation, continuation. So we need to add that to our schedule. Maybe we forgot.
Okay.
So on Sunday and then Tuesday, Tuesday 7 p.m. UTC.
Tuesday. 18.
All right, so we have recruitment commission on Tuesday. So it looks like it might be the week afterwards. So it would be here.
Yeah.
So Tuesday, March
We push to the
26th.
next.
So if we want to try to schedule to be before that, we could add another session in somewhere. But that's the next contentious situation session, March 26th, because of the recruitment commission. Also, if we were doing this perfectly, all of these would say when the sessions are. So this would be like Andromeda, right?
Yeah. This one,
This one might be
also
Cobalt or something like that, you know? So each one would say when the session's going to be so that it's clear. If it was done perfectly. Okay, so this is Andromeda.
documents of the Andromeda also.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So I think we're ready. I think we're good on vibes. Any other things on issues or vibes? So I think we're ready to do our 1 minute per topic.
We are at the bottom of the second hour. Can we stretch? Then we continue.
Okay.
30-second stretch. Yeah, the first one is the first topic is support team prep.
All right, let me go over this real quick. So for the new full moons, we're supposed to be doing the support team. The structure is very different than a normal session, normal main session. So we start with buddy teams, and we focus on, you know, supporting our buddies. And then we come together and do updates. And then we do a life support session. So this would include basic life necessities matrix. And personnel support. So then we do personnel support would be first. So responsibilities, goals, and then life support. And then afterwards, we could do high priority decisions or other issues.
45 seconds of 15 more seconds.
So we definitely need to work on some of the life support and BLM matrix. We could do some of that during the support team session. But the ideal is that we would start doing the support team on the full moons. And this is part of our health and wellness and taking care of ourselves, the organization. Is there anything else to add there? Okay, budget. So for the budget, we still have the, I think the monthly budget is done. But the quarterly budget is not completed yet. So we're still on Beyond Super Hard Stop. So we need to do verification, do final verification. Anything else on the budget that we're forgetting? So to get off Beyond Super Hard Stop, we know we need to do more taxes. So there's going to be the tax extension. Our prime plan is going to help a lot. The recruitment, so we are now on double recruitment hard stop. We're going to need to get our recruitment updated and going further. I think there's other things out there, review everything, okay? Budget. Really budget. Anything else? I think that's pretty much it. All right, taxes. So we have the extensions. There's no reason not to start working on taxes. We have the Innovate United taxes, real-time taxes that we could be doing.
How far are we on are you?
I don't think we've started. We did mail and Innovate United and USCOB extension. So these can all be worked on like immediately. Any other questions on the taxes?
IO taxes means the K1s?
No, this is the everything. For Good Cause Group, we also have percentage admin fee calculations that we could be doing. This is potential income or lost income. We don't do it. All right, so for recruitment, we had the update that I already mentioned up here. So there's this task. We've got our recruitment work session. We need to make a one-pager for fundraising. Well, anything else for recruitment? think we have to finish the or self-engagement processes. And then start posting. So we'll go over all of this for the recruitment at our recruitment commission. Do you remember when it is? Let's double check the recruitment commission. Recruitment commission is on Tuesday in Andromeda.
Tuesday or Friday?
Recruitment work session is on Friday.
That's
So recruitment work session is in not today, but the next day, and but the recruitment commission meeting is on the 19th. So it's Tuesday. And we can go over all of the recruitment stuff then. All right, external invoicing. I don't think this is a priority. It's not a priority anymore because.
No, I just result outcomes. Result I need just added to. I need the 70 degree west work report of yours to complete the mission with them.
Okay, but it would have been helpful a couple days or yesterday or the day before, but now it's just not necessarily helpful because they're just not concerned with us at all. I'll let you know if it might be helpful, but at this point in time, it doesn't look like, the ideal is that they're going to pay us the $3,000 they owe us, and then that'll be it, but who knows, we'll see. All right. In the future, we should have it done in real time. What would that be? Real time invoicing? Or something like that. All right. But for now, let's not worry about it. Let's just focus on our Beyond Super Hard stuff. So I think this is it for going through each one. I think we're ready to go through one by one.
We lost Albina.
Okay. All right, so there's just a few things for the support team prep. The main question is like proposal, or I guess we could call it options. Options 1, to do support team at the full moon, and 2, to not do support team. Not do support team and continue steering team.
Right now, we are doing the support team in the quarter. We are going to switch on full and new. Is it?
Well, eventually when we switch, which, if we switched on the full moon, it would start at our next session. So it would be every full moon, new moon would be support team. And the steering team would be every quarter moon. So the question is if we want to do it or not. Yeah, I think it would be good. It would also, I think it would improve our overall, situation with everything. It will also help some of the new recruits as well. So, do you understand the structure?
Yes, I understand the structure.
All right, so let's say we had the 4 of us, me and you and Albina and Lucy. We would start the session in buddy teams. All right, so we wouldn't all come to the main session. We would actually go into buddy teams at the beginning. And then during the buddy teams, it would be like, check-ins, responsibilities, goals. Oops. And just supporting each other, right? Personnel support. We probably do this for like a half an hour. And then we come together and do updates on the buddy teams. And then we go around and do personnel support for each individual as needed. And then we do the life support matrix. So the most important thing for here is prioritization. I'll also be doing some prioritization on the personnel support. We could also, this could be a good time to do badges. So this is going to end up being a form to fill out for the BLN matrix. The easiest thing to do would be to schedule a time to go over it. Schedule a time to go over life support BLN. Otherwise, we can go over the form at the session. It might take a couple sessions, right? So this will probably take like 1-2 hours. Hey, Albina, you're back.
Sorry, yeah, I'm back. Sorry.
Okay. All right, so we went over a little bit for the support team prep. We should have a support team doc, right? Do we have a support team doc? I think we have one. So what we need to do is we need a support team doc, index the information into the support team doc, and then we're going to be creating new template notes. All right, so this will be our new support team template notes. So for the template notes, the support team, again, we're not going to be using the main session template. And the new template is going to be breaking up with buddy teams, doing personnel support, team ideas, life support, then coming together, doing personnel support, responsibilities, goals, badges, and then life support. Okay, so that's a whole different structure. So it's not a main session. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool. Yeah.
So any other questions? And the last thing is, do we want to do the support team at the full moon, or do we want to do the steering team?
Sorry, are you asking a question?
I'm asking a question.
Yes, our options are either one, to do the support team at the next full moon, which is coming up in 1 week, or we can continue with the steering team sessions during the full moon.
I'm going to option 1.
Also prefer option 1 at full moon.
All right, so it sounds like there's no objection. So what we want to do is we want to announce to everyone that the full moon will be our first support team session. And then Albina, you missed it, but the idea is that at the beginning, we don't come all to the main session. Like, let's say there's 4 of us. If it was me and you and Zilu and Lucy, we would split up into 2 buddy teams, and we would start the first half hour as buddy teams.
Okay.
All right, cool.
So for the first session, we can't do the double body team there.
Say again, Zilu.
For the first session of support team, can we do the double team there? Is that
No,
the policy?
it's not a double team. It's buddy teams. Right? No double teams. So if you wanted to do the double team, you could, but then it would no longer be the support session. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And remember, it's only for half an hour. You do 30-minute check-ins as buddies, and then you come together and do the double team here. So this is the start double team. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool. All right, so let's move on to the budget. So for the budget, it's mainly just the quarterly budget. Do we want to link it and go over the verification now, or do we want to wait and do this at some other time and schedule it? So option and do it now.
Do you want to verify the early budget right now, or
Yeah, I'm just linking the verification for quarterly budget.
All right, so let's do some verification here. Quarterly budget accounting report. So the report was proposed. It was in the New Moon voting forum, right? It was verified. The results were tallied, and then it was certified. Correct? Is that correct? Is this correct that for the quarterly budget and accounting report, it all got certified and verified? We just did that, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So mini endo budgets, I remember us approving the mini endo budgets as well. Network business cost budgets also got approved. Quarterly budget with the months also got approved. So rankings, proposal removals done. HR budget for first month done. HR budget framework for the quarter. HR budget framework for the quarter. So what happened here is we did the HR budget for the first month, but what we didn't do is we did not do the HR budget framework for the whole quarter. So this is the only thing that's missing is that we have the first month, but we don't have the next 3 months.
the 3 months next month?
So I would say that, you know, this is a responsibility to do the HR budget framework for the quarter. base it on our first month budget. Keep it simple, just one spreadsheet. Basically it's a month-to-month changes in the HR budget based on cuts and additions of the budget. Okay, so we want to basically think ahead 3 months of what our budget's going to look like. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
So do you think it would be possible to do this? It doesn't need to be perfect. The idea is just to have something so that we can get started with this. So can anyone work on this or what?
Not yet. But I can.
Oh, do you want to work on it, Albina?
Yeah.
Okay. So just, it shouldn't take longer than like, 2 hours, maybe less, 1 or 2 hours. And, just keep it simple, and then send it over and we'll take a look at it. And then start, basically just start with just the buddy team budget, right?
Yeah, MBT.
Yeah. So it should be really simple, right? Just simple.
Yeah. That will be for the next 3 months, right?
Yes, and then you're
for
using.
The quarter, yeah. Okay.
So you're using this budget here. So this is going to be the overall quarterly budget, right?
Yeah.
So in the overall quarterly budget, we broke down that this month we have 800, then we have 750, and then we go down to 700. So between 800 and 700, how much would that potentially change our budget over the quarter? Okay.
Yes.
Also, let's go ahead and see if we can organize some of this. So this is the part that's missing, the 4 months of budget. All of this is completed. So the question is, are there responsibility organizing links? And they're supposed to be linked here, so that's a problem.
You link it then. It's organized.
And then we're verifying the responsibility verification link. And we also should be verifying that the responsibility organizing is to say responsibility organizing components. All right, so there's still a lot to be done here in terms of getting the final verification completed with the responsibility organizing link and verification of the responsibility organizing.
Yeah.
But other than that, we're really close to getting this all completed, so that'll be good. Any other questions on the budget?
No, I think we lost Zilu.
It's okay. All right, so beyond super hard stop, let's see this one. I think this might be the last thing we need to do, and then we can wrap up.
Okay.
And we have taxes scheduled for tomorrow, so that should be fine. So for this one, all we really are doing is we're trying to review really quickly what needs to be completed to get off of this hard stop. One thing I remember we need to do is self-driven responsibilities verification updating. So we have new self-driven responsibilities for today that we need to be updating.
Mm-hmm.
So taxes management, verifying complete list of everyone receiving 1099s, calculate amount of 1099s. So all this is done. So now it's just the filing for extensions. Also doing government compliance. Okay.
Yeah.
Vienna is not applicable mission within. Pretty much there's some VA work here, but you know, voting forms don't look like they're going to be happening. You cannot partnership. So this is important. This would be scheduled as part of our time plan. So maybe we put like number 0. The prime plan. So we're gonna need to do more scheduling. For executive planning. Quarterly budget accounting, we're really close. We're almost done with this. Let's put some numbers. So I would say this one is you know, I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was like 55%.
Yeah, 55.
Taxes. Probably even more, like 60%. Mission. Remember, this is just to get off of Beyond Super Hard Stop. So this is 100%.
You're no longer doing Vienna?
No. This is 100%. Oh, say 95%. The main thing here is we want to send reminders until we get paid. It is important. Don't forget to not get paid. So let's make that like 90. You cannot partnership. I mean, we haven't done hardly anything here. So quarterly budget and accounting, again, this is like super close to being done. Just need to get that done. Recruitment commission, not doing a lot on this. We were at like 55%, be 65. There's not much left to do to get out of the hard stop, but we're not doing it. This is also very important. Personnel support, we're doing really good. Making a lot of progress here. MBE is also pretty much okay. This is not started. Executive support, we're doing better on that. Okay, anyways, I think we can stop going through it. You know, there's still lots to be done, but this will pretty much, if we can get these things completed up at the top, in the top like 5 or 6, we should be able to get off of super hard stuff. Okay?
Okay. Yeah.
Monthly budget is good. We're good on this. Running UMBUS, I think, is also pretty good.
Yeah, that's complete.
Well, we have to get ready for the next month, though.
Yeah, for
Worker
the next
coordination,
month,
hard
yes.
stop coordination, not so great on that. But we're improving right now. Payroll also needs more work. And we also need to add in owner's payroll. Documentations, we went over some of that. So there's backups and then there's also decisions, stocks, and plasma organizing. Recruitment. We're just not even close on this. Alright, so I think that's everything. Any other questions on the Beyond Super Hard Stop?
No.
Cool. So, I mean, there's not too much. I think in the next week, and certainly by the end of the month, we could easily be out of Beyond Super Hard Stop if we just stay focused. And that'll result in us doing some recruitment too. All right, so I think we're ready to wrap up.
Yeah.
You
can wrap up.
I think we know our schedule. Why don't we just go ahead and check out?
But yes.
I think we lost Vilu around, what was it, like 20 minutes ago? So like
15 minutes ago.
15 minutes ago, so it'd be 5, 6, 8. Do you want to check out first, or should I?
Yes, I can give the session 6.5. It was really good session. We'll be focusing on the quarterly budget for the next 3 months and also for the scheduled budgeting sessions. And voting form, I'll do the voting form also. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, I think this session went pretty good too. I give it like a 6.25, and I'm gonna focus on just trying to relax and get the prime plan organized, make sure we're getting focused on our taxes, as well as our government compliance and recruitment. Yes, so I'll be working on all those things. Check. I think we're also doing some payroll tomorrow as well. All right.
Okay.
I think that's it.
Thank you, Jay.
Yeah, thank you. Take care.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Okay. I'll do the storyteller.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Good.
Okay.
All right, ciao.